Hi everyone, it's Hayes, and in today's video we are going to be discussing the very important question of whether or not Daddy, She's Just My Assistant Agreste and Nathalie will get together in the show. And I obviously don't actually know, and we haven't even seen Nathalie yet this season. She hasn't even been in any of the trailers so far. I'm hoping she's gonna have a big part to play in the episode called Gabriel Agreste, but like we haven't even seen it yet, which is just so sad. Like, she's literally one of my favourite characters. I think she's like the most complex character. I think she's the best written. I absolutely love Nathalie so much. However, I do feel like the answer to the question of whether or not they will get together, I do feel it will be a tentative yes. So let me explain. So we all know that Hawk Daddy / Shadow Daddy / Daddy Agreste in general is not going to succeed. It's a kids show. Marinette and Adrian are going to win at the end of the day. Whenever that end happens, they're going to win. And we also know that he's not going to be Hawk Daddy in the future, as we found out in Time Tagger. So I'm kind of hoping that the season 5 finale, if not sooner, will be when they defeat Gabriel's Hawkmoth, and then Ladybug and Chat Noir will triumph. And then we'll get season 6 and season 7 of some good Gabriel character development, as well as some relationship development with both Adrian and Nathalie. I'm not going to talk too much about Adrian in this video. He's going to get mentioned, but this video isn't about Gabriel and Adrian, it's about Gabriel and Nathalie, so let's talk about her. We know for a fact that Nathalie is pretty much in love with Gabriel. It does list on her wiki as Gabriel being one of her love interests, even though she is not listed as a love interest for Gabriel. It's just one-sided, it's just her. We know she cares for him deeply. She's also kind of sacrificial with the way she uses the peacock Miraculous, arguably to a toxic extent with the amount she does for Gabriel, the amount she sacrifices herself for him. And he does also care about her too, we just rarely see it. Now, does that mean that he loves her? No, not necessarily. You can care about someone without being in love with them. But I do feel that the way Gabriel is with Nathalie is very much how Adrian and Marinette are with each other and each other's personalities. It's like Gabriel can't even see Nathalie because he's so focused on Emily. Now, I'm not saying Gabriel should cheat on Emily. Emily is still technically alive. She's not dead. I kind of thought she was dead and I was just like, why doesn't he just move on? No, she's actually alive. She's on life support. She's not listed as dead. She is still technically alive. But like I said, we all know he's not going to win, so eventually he will have to probably turn off Emily's life support, assuming there isn't something in the real world they can do to help them. But I'm assuming there's no other way to help her, hence why Gabriel has turned to using some magical fun-time jewellery. So he will eventually have to let go of Emily, probably hold a funeral for her, and grieve. And I feel at this point, and when I say at this point, I don't mean like immediately after he's been defeated and Emily has been buried properly and stuff like that. I don't mean this is going to immediately happen. It would be like a gradual thing that I think will probably come to fruition, maybe like right at the end of the show, where Nathalie, she's still going to be Gabriel's assistant, probably, hopefully, I hope she's still going to be his assistant, and then they then can grow closer to each other. And I guess I would like Gabriel to eventually realise the feelings he does have for Nathalie, because in my opinion he does have some feelings towards her, the same way I feel like Adrian definitely has a crush on Marinette, but he just can't see it because of Ladybug. Gabriel is unable to see his feelings for Nathalie because of Emily. However, that being said, she shouldn't be like a replacement for Emily. Nathalie is her own person, and even though we don't know a great deal about Emily, I think Nathalie is amazing, and I think she's going to be actually ultimately really good for Gabriel. So like I said, he gets defeated, him and Adrian grieve, they have a funeral, and after Gabriel has had enough time to grieve as like a show ender, they may finally get together. And I think that's actually going to be a really good thing to show in a kids show. A lot of kids shows don't have characters dying because a lot of shows don't know how to tackle that with children. And when I was a child, I was really lucky that I had no of my elderly relatives die. When I was born, my grandparents on my dad's side were already dead, and my grandpa on my mum's side was dead as well. So there was just my mum's mum, my grandma, and she didn't die until I was 21, so only a few years ago. So I never had to deal with grief as a child. And whilst I maybe arguably didn't deal with it in the best way, is there a best way to deal with grief? I don't know. But I know I would have struggled with it had she died when I was the age Adrian and Marinette are now. And I mean, I wasn't super close with my grandma, but it does seem that Adrian and his mum did have a close relationship, the same way Gabriel has a close relationship with his wife. So it's going to be a really good thing to show to children, because that's a really hard topic to tackle with kids. However, that being said, I would absolutely love to actually see Gabriel like about to succeed in the show. I'd kind of like to see him get the Miraculouses, and I feel his plan would be either to sacrifice Ladybug or Chat Noir, but obviously he takes the jewellery off them in order to have his wish, and obviously he's like, well, I can't sacrifice Chat Noir because he is my son, there's no point in me bringing Emily back to life if I'm gonna lose him. So then he'll turn to Marinette, and then Adrien will be like, no, I love her, don't do that. And then I feel Nathalie may step in. As much as I love Nathalie and everything she does for Gabriel, like I said before, she is quite sacrificial to Gabriel. She's literally like his living assistant. She has no life. Her whole life is assisting him with his fashion business and assisting him with Adrien's security as well as his upbringing. She is literally Adrien's surrogate mum, even though Adrien doesn't call her mum or Gabriel hasn't stated that. That's essentially her role within the household, to help with Gabriel's business and also to help bring Adrien up. However, that's all assuming that Gabriel knows he has to make a sacrifice. I can't remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not 100% sure if he does know he has to make a sacrifice in order to get Emily back. I'm pretty sure Marinette and Adrien know, and Master Fu did know, and I'm assuming Suhan knows as well. I'm not 100% sure if Gabriel is aware that there will be a sacrifice to be made, but if he is aware, I definitely think Nathalie could step forward, be like, I'll do it, because as much as she loves Gabriel and wants to be with him, I think she'll be like, I want to see him happy though, and if he's going to be happy with Emily and not me, I can live with it, or not live with it because she'd be dead rather. Should have thought that one through first. And also, where the sacrifices are concerned, do you get to pick a sacrifice, or is it just random where you're like, I wish for this person to come back to life, and then the Miraculous just randomly yeets someone off the planet? Is it like that, or like do you get to pick, like do you have to line up your sacrifice? Or does it just pick someone random in Paris that day? I don't know how it works. There hasn't been a lot of talk about it from what I know, and I'm not sure if Gabriel is 100% aware of what's going to happen either, but please correct me if I'm wrong on that because I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, we all know Gabriel's not going to succeed. Ladybug and Chat Noir will win one day, and this theory of whether or not he will get together with Nathalie works entirely on the premise that when all of this is over, he won't get arrested. But I mean, what are they going to charge him with? Being a public nuisance? Like, has he technically committed any crimes? Because I mean, the Akuma victims have never been arrested, which fair enough because they're being controlled by someone else magically, so they've never been arrested, and all the damage that's been caused by them under the influence of Gabriel has all been fixed with the Miraculous Ladybug. So the only time there's been public destruction to property was in the New York special. There was no Miraculous Ladybug then, but that was Nathalie, not Gabriel. So will she get arrested for that? I don't know. So I'm not actually sure what crime they could charge him with. I think it would probably be something like being a public nuisance for however long this has been going on. Time doesn't exist in Miraculous. We had their birthdays in season 1 and 2, and then apart from Christmas there's been no other like seasonal calendar event. Like surely they should be due for another birthday at this point, I don't know. So in conclusion, I am praying, quite literally praying, for Gabe Nath to happen. But I don't know if it will. However, the voice actors for Gabriel and Nathalie did say that they shipped their characters together, so that's good enough for me. Let me know what you think. Do you think they'll get together? And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!